everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome on in to part 2. If you missed part 1, that's okay. You can hop in here and catch one on the replay. Let's do this. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. It is so good to see you again. I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're doing really great. So if you missed part 1 yesterday, I have the link pinned. I hope it's visible over there on the YouTube end for everybody. Let me see if I can. Whoop. Yes, I can go ahead and grab a copy of for us. So let's go ahead. And if you missed yesterday, here is for a replay, and I do believe that that'll get pinned in all the places in the description box for those of you who missed the live. So yesterday, we did some brain dumping. You didn't have to do it. I set up day 1 and day 2 with an end and a start, respectively, that you could just pick up with us at the start of day 2. Now, some of you may have seen the workshop. Whoop, whoop. Hello, repeating into the infinity. Some of you may have seen the workshop that I did for Mythicon last week. Yeah, last weekend. And I gave a brief walkthrough of that. Several writers did kind of work on it throughout the day and bring questions too, because they had a ton of questions that we kind of lingered and talked about. They didn't get a writing time. So I said, all the more good that we're doing part 2 here to kind of really walk through that handout as well. So if you want a copy of the document there for what I have on screen, you're welcome to join in. You're welcome to take notes. I do need to get tarot decks out. I have not gotten that far yet. I'm going to dual deck today. No, Yu-Gi-Oh fans, don't. I'm going to dual, as in dual with an A, not an E. Dual use 2 decks. That's what I'm trying to say. Wow. I just heard a bunch of my Yu-Gi-Oh friends going squee, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Calm down, calm down. All right, I need that deck. And I think I need this one. Okay. So I think we're going to go Tegan and Craig for me. That should be easy to remember. She likes pinkish, reddish, purple things. He likes greens, golds, browns, and whatnots. You did watch. I'm glad you did. I hope you enjoyed. So if you want to go ahead and do this worksheet with me live, step by step, you're welcome to do so. And I'll give you a little clue into how we're going to bring the two together from yesterday and today. The last question I asked in our final sprint yesterday, I gave you a bonus question and a homework question. The homework question and the bonus question could have gone together a little bit, but they all relied on answering this prior to chapter 1 section. If you didn't do that, now's the time, because we're going to establish a couple of rules and then start with our prior to chapter 1. So using your own tarot or oracle decks of choice, shuffle them however you would prefer. Draw 15 cards is going to be the goal. Now, you won't draw 15 cards per character necessarily. That's up to you. That could get really messy. And a lot of notes to consider if you have, say, over 3 or 4 POVs moving in a book. But if you have 1 or 2, maybe 3 characters, I could see where you'd want a dual deck. I'm doing it because Craig's in a really bad place mentally right now. And she's about to join him. So I kind of want 2 independent thought brains going on. Make some rules for yourselves. What are jumpers? Most of you who follow my streams know what jumpers are. The ones that jump out. Do you take them or do you shuffle them back in? You have seen me do both. You have seen me do both. And if it gives you more than one jumper, are you putting them all back in or not? Could also, see, I would even count that as a jumper because it was the last one sticking to my hand. Are you keeping them or not? What are the conditions you want to put on yourself? Those are optional. That's up to you. Are you taking reversals? That's the upside down meaning of cards. Now, some decks, yeah, this one doesn't have reversals, such as like some Oracle decks, like my Marvel deck or the Moonology decks, or even these Tree Magic Oracle decks. They don't have always an assigned reversed meaning. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If the book doesn't have it, what's directly on the opposite side of that table? Kind of think like the table, including who's directly across from them, and then plus or minus one seat to the left or right of that person, to kind of give you a little bit of a range, if that helps a little bit, okay? This is why, you know, I would not say that it is Draco versus Harry. It's Draco and his friends versus Harry and his friends. Just to give you well-known names of groups of people. You could even go here with X-Men and the X-Men versus the Brotherhood, kind of a little bit there if you want to go there. Or the Turtles versus the Foot. Put them in their own camps. So which deck did you use, or decks did you use today? Give yourself some record keeping on your guidelines, on your control group here, or what is being controlled versus what is not being controlled in your experimentation, since we're getting random with statistical numbers here. Hello, it's good to see you, Arias. Long time no see indeed. Glad to have you here. We're about to do some outlining if you want to join in. Miranda, if it's one deck per I was going to say, some of you might want to consider one deck as the collective. Some of you know how to draw tarot that way too, of what is the collective hive mind thinking in this moment. So you could then make it one for your protagonists and one for your antagonists. Then if you have an ensemble cast, like myself and Miranda tend to do. I have some books with... There used to be 8 points of view in book 1 of the Myrna Annals. There's now 3 or 4. At one point in the series, we get up to 5. And I'm like, whoa, this is a little too many. Let's simmer down. Yeah, 5 is a lot of voices chatting. So I could see where you would pick, this is for my protagonist collective. This is for my antagonist collective. Just to see what both sides of an infinite coin spin when turned flat could give you. So go ahead and consider your rules and also fill out your prior to chapter 1. Now, you can simply say, see my notes from yesterday. You can take the time to go ahead and do that here. We're going to do a shorter sprint to start us off to fill out what are jumpers, what are reversals, what decks did you use, and any prior to chapter 1 information. If you were not here yesterday, or if you didn't do the quote bonus question and homework from yesterday, just go ahead and do the prior to chapter 1. Any card or cards that you might draw. I just had a jumper, 2 jumpers. And go ahead and make any notes you want there. You want the card, its literal meaning, or the book meaning, or your intuitive meaning. They all help. I go through the different examples of those over in the Mythicon class that I have up as a vlog. I can share the link if you want. And then remember, under plot effect, do not assume that this is only plot-driven notes. These can also be character-driven notes. So technically you could treat that as plot/character effect if you so would want, okay? We are going to start off. Oh, that was almost perfect on the timing. I wanted 5 minutes. So we're going to do about, we'll do it this way. Haha. we're going to do about a 5-minute sprint here when it kicks up on the other side of kazooing, and get us started through the first couple of questions, including prior to chapter 1. Welcome on back, everybody. As you can tell, I too did not get all my notes in here, but I have some pretty good starter items, and you kind of get the gist of what I mean here. I added in my rules, I defined it, added in examples of how to use the jumpers, same for the reversals for myself, and set up which decks. I was adding in notes here on the cards. You could also... This is why I like using a document of any kind for this. I could literally highlight C notes, click. Where's my Google drawing from yesterday? There it is. And I can literally just take and copy, done, and just link them over. So that way I have them connected and I don't need to go hunt them down again later. It's just there in a click. This has been very helpful to me over the years, not just in Google Suite things, but LibreOffice, I think, has a way now that you could do this. Microsoft Office does. Most browser-based or app-based things, you can interconnect your documents like this. Highly, highly, highly suggest. So what you then do is once you have your notes for your card meanings and their plot effects, I'll go back and fill those in later. You're going to go down into your Act 1 and your Act 2A. This is your rising action from your opening sequencing, okay? If you notice here, I gave them each a beginning, middle, and an end. It was not my intention so much to go in the whole line of Jessica Brody's Save the Cat. What more that came out of was some of the imagery that's painted in the 8 Crafts of Writing. We did craft book overviews for Soulbard memberships here. If you want to become a channel member and join along, we'll be kicking up another book soon for the summer. This one, there's images in here. Let me see if I can find the page really quick, because that would just be a ton more helpful. Where's my really, really gnarly graphic of a roller coaster in here? Because that's why I suggested this. It's like building the different levels of a roller coaster for yourself and your characters to kind of ride along. There it is. There it is. See if I can make myself bigger. No. Wait a minute. We were there, Jenna. Middle. There I am. Hello. So the goal is to kind of give yourself those little tiny humps. If you consider each of the taller mountains that are up here, 2A, 2B, Act 1, then 2A, 2B, and Act 3, you can see where the little mini humps there are your beginning, middle, and end. That led me to recognize we have some divine sequencing of numbers going on here. They are 1, 3, 3, 1, 3, 3, 1. It's a palindrome. It's an angel number for 1, but also you get those 13s and those 4s that are really strong foundational numbers, numerically speaking. And I was like, oh, but you're also making sure every section of your book has a natural beginning, middle, end that feed to the overall beginning, middle, end. So you have your overall beginning. That's your prior to chapter 1. Your overall middle will eventually be your climax. Your overall end, of course, is the ending. We got to build some bunny hop hills, loop-de-loops, and corkscrews for your characters to go through on the roller coaster, and we need to make sure it's supported through each of the acts, is the visual I like to give there. So if that helps a little bit, especially for those of my friends who are more of the Save the Cat persuasion, okay? There we go. Get our little bit of a visual back here as well. So what I would suggest we do is we are going to continue to draw cards. for Act 1. Do that one next. Could we probably do Act 2? We could probably do Act 1 and 2A. Continue to draw some cards, make a list of what's happening. Now, I am going to choose not to reshuffle my cards back in. That is my choice. If they come up again, though, life just went woohoo, pop quiz time, I guess, and wants them to do a review. That is more helpful to do that when you're thinking in terms of a series. If it comes up a second time, does it come up in this book or the next book is what you can ask yourself, okay? If you're doing standalones, maybe once the card is drawn and is on the playing field, it stays out, could apply, okay? So with that being said, I think we could probably go ahead and continue to draw cards and make notes and do Act 1 and Act 2A. Notice there's a total of 6 blocks here. You could choose 12 cards if you want. You could choose, well, maybe Craig is going to handle 3 chapters here for me. I need 1 card. Then maybe Tegan will handle the next section of Act 1. Maybe that's 2 chapters. Some people prefer on purpose back and forth, back and forth. I like to let my characters control a scene for a couple chapters when it's, or control the POV rather, across a couple scenes when it's just 2 of them lobbing the POVs back and forth. That is up to you. Neither is right, neither is wrong. Both are valid and worth trying. You can also, in your plot effects, start making notes of, okay, where does chapter 1 start? Does it start during the prior to chapter 1? Like, are we tossed into the middle of something as the reader? That's an option. Some readers like that. Some don't. Ask me how I know. Some people hate the beginning of book 1 for that reason. Some people love the beginning of book 1 for me for that reason. But also start making notes of, is this a couple scenes? How many scenes? If you need those notes. I personally do not make those notes at this time. That's not my brain. I will take this a step further and do more outlining if I need it. Not all the time. Do I need to do what I had to do for book 2 and make literally, a chapter 1 bullet point A, B, C kind of traditional outline? If you need that, you can see where this is a middle point from your brain dumping to a point for point typical outline. Okay. The header here, by the way, that's because this was printed for people. So if you want to actually print this, feel welcome to use the back of this page as you see fit. If you want to double print it, that applies to those of you who want to double print. Or if you want to do what I did at the actual Mythicon and leave the back empty for additional space, you do what you want. It's your worksheet, hon. So on that note, now that I've rambled 20 minutes, All right, y'all. Hello. I was like, wait a minute. I had another wands when I drew her page of wands, and I was like, let me go back. That's a hint for me to go back. And of course, she had page of wands earlier, and I'm like, oh, what was I saying about a maybe fire? This is yes fire. I intuited that. A little hard. Literally on the card, you all can't see me. Let me move my chair back a little more. Hello. I'll show you what I mean. What teed me off is this is my page of wands from the deck I'm using for her. And it literally says, fire is the element. And if you're asking a yes-no question, the answer is probably maybe. That's the page of wands. 6 of wands. You can't make this up. What is its element? Fire. What kind of energy is it if you ask a yes-no question? Yes. Wow. Okay, you can't make this stuff up. So this is literally that previous plot point coming around full circle, because if it doesn't, boy, is what's going to happen next going to hurt. This is my midpoint notes, and yeah, I'm going to have to outline some midpoint to climax notes really hard, because wow, that midpoint's going to be fun for everybody involved, because death came up and then the hangman came up. This midpoint's gonna hurt. Oh, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Okay. So, the climax. I will check in again with both characters. This is my choosing. Some of you may have noticed in the prior to, I had a note for each character, and then I started going back and forth, and I'm just considering them checkpoints. Craig might have some POV chapters under Tegan's cards. That's okay. I know how she's supposed to react to him while he's possibly still fixing his own stuff. Whew. And here at the climax, it's another checkpoint. It's another one. It's another pause. It's the middle, okay? It's the middle of the middle. We want to make sure that they both are hitting the same, the beginning together, they're hitting the middle together, and they're hitting the end together. They don't have to get a 10 out of 10 perfect Olympic style score. It's more human of them to probably one get a 62% and the other get a 77, if you get my meaning. That's allowed too. But we need to see how they're checking in with these pillars of support, or else the tracks of our plot are not going to keep chugging along. Before we go into doing some notes for both the climax and our 2B, we will probably run over. Thank you for your patience. Actually, what we could do, what I'll do is repeat the pattern. Climax, I'll check in with both of them. 2B, pick up with my pattern. Was it? Yes, Craig again. So Craig, Tegan, Craig, same with Act 3. Go back and forth. And then in my ending, I'll pick 2 cards again. Okay? I'll go ahead and give us another 20-minute sprint here in a little bit. I'm going to actually say hi and ignore the timer. We're allowed to chat. You all have been very patient. Hello, friends. Let's see. Reyes joined in. There's Literary Eclipse. I miss you. Hello, all my hugs. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're good. Yeah. You be safe going out there. Thank you for stopping in to say hi. But if you need to head out, that's okay. It is literally starting to snow. For those of you who don't know, I'm not in the danger zone of the nor'easter coming up the coastline. Sorry, Carla. I'm sending most of it to you in Boston. Love you, honey. But the I'm still somewhere in the I could get about half a foot of snow range. It's like, really? Seriously? It just almost got rid of what's out front. So we deal with what we're able to deal with while we're able to deal with. On that note, let's go ahead and finish drawing for our remaining parts. We'll do the climax through until the end. And if you need to step out, that's okay. Glad to have you here while you're able to be here. 21:55 is fine. We'll take 21:55. See you here in a little bit. All right, y'all. So I did not get to the ending. That's fine. I know where it's headed, though. That's what matters, on the other hand. Thank you for spending... It's 1:11 on the clock as far as the time we've been going. So thank you for spending an hour and 11 minutes with me this afternoon, this evening. Replay, how are you? I hope you're all doing really well. I will see you all, hopefully, members, we have Tuesdays coming for a members only stream this week. And then I'll see you all Wednesday and Friday for our usual time together and hang out. All my hugs. Stay warm. Stay safe. And on that note, do something at 2:22 p.m. your time. If I caught you in time to remind you. See you around.